So in the 2022 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers have the 6th pick. This is really significant as they're a franchise that hasn't really had too much top 10 picks as of late, but this is also really important for them because it's clear they don't want to be a team that's selecting top 10 next season. So if they could get a really quality player who can help them make a deeper push next season to the playoffs, it'd be huge for the organization. So that's led me to make this video where I'll be discussing who I think the Indiana Pacers will select. I'm going to start off by talking about the 3 most likely prospects I think they will be able to take. Then at the end, I'm going to come to a conclusion on who I think they should select. Before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to go with 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video. I do respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. First prospect I want to discuss that the Indiana Pacers could potentially take with the 6th overall pick is Keegan Murray. He's a 6'8" power forward with all the physical attributes to play well consistently in the front court in the NBA. Moves really well for his size and has solid athleticism, especially off 2 feet. He can also space the floor, which is very important. Shot 40% from 3 on 5 attempts in college. He's more of a catch and shoot shooter. He's not really going to do anything off the dribble, but obviously that's very valuable because you need your power forward to be able to shoot. He can attack closeouts, do pull-up mid-range jump shots, and just straight up attack the rim. Also good in open space. Also good in pick and pop situations that could be useful with a guy like Cade Cunningham. Also capable of using the post up. He also has lots of moves like his turnaround or his post hook. He can also get by his defenders with that first step. Gets past a lot of big and slower players consistently. Also a guy who's really efficient. He never is taking any shots that's out of his game, never forcing any shots. And that's always a bonus. He's also a guy who likes to hustle. Pretty good shot blocker in college. He averaged 2 blocks a game. Also a really solid rebounder. He averaged 9 a game and 3 offensive a game. And something that's really underrated in the NBA is offensive rebounding. And if he's able to do that in the league, that could be huge for whatever team he goes to. But if he goes to the Pistons, obviously that's a plus. He can also guard the perimeter at a solid level for a 4. And to talk about some negatives with his game, there might be a question of whether or not he can actually play the power forward position at the next level because he really is undersized at that position. We'll have to see if he's strong enough, long enough, athletic enough to consistently play that position and not just get outmatched by other forwards in the league. He's also a guy who's not good at shot creating at all. You will never call it isolation for him right now. His handles are really loose. He's also a guy who really struggled when defenses were physical with him. But he's also not much of a passer. He's not a ball hog, but he's just not a guy who passes well. He's not going to make any astounding passes. He can make the most basic passes, but that's it. You're not going to ask him to be a post playmaker or something like that. This guy's a really intriguing prospect. He might be the best pure scorer in the draft. I think he's kind of like a wild card to a certain degree, but if he pans out, he could be a really just good player in the league. I don't see him having as much potential as the other guys in the draft. I think there's a lot of guys with way more potential as him, but I would say he's a somewhat safe pick. The next prospect I want to discuss that the Indiana Pacers might select with the 6th overall pick is Shaden Sharpe. He's a guy who didn't play as much as the other prospects in college. If we're being honest, most of the reason why people are so impressed with him is because he was the #1 recruit coming out of high school. He's definitely been good enough in high school to be regarded this high. Shaden is a prospect who looks like he's going to be great going into the future. Not saying he's a raw prospect because he's actually very skilled, one of the most skilled players in this draft, but definitely not someone you'd expect to just come in and play amazing straight out the gate. To talk about his strengths, he's an incredible athlete. Most people think he's the most athletic player in the draft, maybe only behind Jaden Ivey. He's also pretty strong, so you don't have to worry about that. In high school, he showed the ability to be a 3-level scorer. He had very good length as he has a near 7-foot wingspan. On On the defensive side of the floor, he showed good speed and was able to keep up laterally with a lot of ball handlers, able to use his length to get in steals in the passing lanes. Also a really good transition player. He has a solid shot creation ability, can definitely shoot the ball, put the ball on the floor, can break down defenders with a step back that gives him a lot of space. He can even post up against smaller guards. To talk about the negatives with Shaden Sharpe's game, he has a questionable intensity and focus at times. Sometimes he's just completely out of the game, whether it's disappearing on offense or just not trying on defense. They also question whether or not he has enough speed to consistently blow by defenders at the NBA level. He also takes some questionable shots, and just straight up, a lot of the hype surrounding him is coming out of high school. Obviously, he was an amazing high school player. We all get that. But to be honest, college is a whole nother animal compared to high school, and we never really saw him at college. So there's a lot of questions of whether or not he's going to be one of those guys who disappoint. We don't know. All I'm saying is I definitely think he has top 5 potential in the class, and he's honestly my favorite player out of the draft class because of what he did in high school. But we don't know if the Kings might not want to select a guy that barely even played in college. We'll have to see. The last prospect I want to discuss that the Indiana Pacers might select with the 6th overall pick is AJ Griffin out of the University of Duke. Griffin is a prospect who might not have as high as a ceiling as other prospects, but he's a pretty safe pick overall. And just to be blunt, seems like a guy who could be a great role player or a starter in the NBA. Not saying he can't be better than that, but from what he's shown in college, that's what it looks like he's going to be. To talk about his strength, he's an absolutely amazing three-point shooter, arguably the best in the class. Shot 45% from 3 in college, has beautiful form and everything. He can attack when defenders close out to him too hard at the three-point line, can finish at the rim well, can also create space for himself occasionally on the perimeter, whether it's a pump fake, sidestep 3, or occasionally a step back 3. Really strong, uses it to his advantage when he's attacking the rim, uses physicality to finish at the rim a lot, uses his length solidly on the defensive side of the floor. To talk about his weaknesses, he's not a really quick guy, so I doubt he'll be able to consistently blow by defenders on the perimeter. Also defensively, he can get exposed as he gets caught on a lot of ball screens, and sometimes he over dribbles. But overall, he seems like a guy who won't be able to be a future star really in the league, but he'll be a guy who's gonna play his role. Maybe in the league he could be more than that. But he's a guy who I think can be good straight out the gate with his shooting and his solid defense. And if that's someone that the Pacers are looking for, he would be a solid pick for them, for sure. But to answer the question of who I think the Indiana Pacers should select with the 6th overall pick, if Keegan Murray or Jaden Ivey is somehow available at 6th pick, I guarantee you Indiana will take one of those guys, but since I doubt those guys will be available, I think the guy they should select is Shaden Sharpe, and this is because Indiana right now does not have a player who looks like they're going to be a future top 20 player in the league. Tyrese Halliburton is very good, and he could be an all-star in the future for sure. I would actually predict him to be an all-star in the future, maybe even as soon as next year, but I don't know if he has potential to be a real superstar player in this league. Maybe he can be. Maybe I'm sleeping on him a little bit. Trust me, I'm not sleeping on him though. I really like him. I know he's good. I know how good he is. But I'm just saying, even if he does reach that level, I think Indiana's a team that should be drafted for potential rather than just going for a safe pick, if you know what I mean. And Shaden Sharpe is a guy who looks like he could be a future superstar in this league. He might not be as good as other rookies straight out the gate, but I think in the long run, he's a pick that could pan out really well, so that's who I think they should select. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think the Pacers should select. Drop a like on this video on my channel, bro. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, you want us to go up 3,000 subscribers. Also, drop a comment on this video. I do respond to all of my comments, and play that intro.